different level of like relaxation in terms of like you're out of the way, you're not bothering anybody, and you've kind of just got your own little space in paradise.
So the route we're taking out of here is, I'm never a fan of an out and back, and what's quite fortunate is we came from that direction and then we're gonna take that track all along there and back out. So always fun when you get to stay over on the trail but then keep going the next day rather than double back on yourself. So excited to find what lies ahead, but let's get to it and let's hope we can get through and not have to double back the entire way. So one of the questions that we often get is, would we prefer to have a long wheelbase over our mid wheelbase van? So that's the length of the van, and would we want a longer one? And to answer this, it's best I explain a few things. So with going off-road, you have approach angles and departure angles, and what that means is how much clearance you have going down at the front and back up at the rear, the bumper. But then the other thing you need to bear in mind is the breakover angle, and what that is the clearance when you go over something. So the rocking effect there is, it means that your total clearance reduces as you go over these obstacles. So just back there we went through a ford and the angle out was fairly steep, which meant that tip is a testing point that you may catch as you go over. So if you have a longer vehicle and you had the same amount of lift as we do, then that clearance is lower. So if you go for a longer van, make sure you've got a big lift. So as you know, we live in this tin can, but who knows, maybe one day we will actually find ourselves committing to a single location again and have bricks and mortar around us. But if we did, we certainly would like something like this that's really remote and just hidden away. And that's part of the reason why we love coming on these tracks, is because the type of property that we like, you're just not going to find on the side of a main road. So this is really cool. Off to do the weekly shop. It's about double the size of the van. That's all we need. That's the end of the track, and I almost forgot. We've got to air back up now. So I'm sure I've mentioned before, but we used to have one of those budget air compressors, which is fine, it will do the job, but it took nearly 1 hour to reinflate all 4 tyres, which just puts you off deflating in the first place, and then you run into all sorts of trouble with the van vibrating like mad. So yeah, this is the ARB twin compressor under the bonnet, and we are over the moon with it. And if you've been watching the videos for a little while now, you'll see that I use it all the time. I'm not going to put these back up to what they were before the track, because they were set quite high for highway pressures, as we've done the long journey from Norway to the UK and then UK to Spain. But now we're kind of like more rural country roads. I like to kind of have like a halfway house of giving you good stability but dampen some of the awful roads that we go on. So we'll get these up and then get back on the road. I tell you what though, travelling this way, living this way does not get old. You know, we just camped up with an incredible view, we've been off-road, have great fun, reinflate the tyres, and now I get to make a coffee in my kitchen, use the bathroom quickly, and then away you go. It's so much fun. So there you go, look, 50 at the front, 60 at the back, we'll see how that goes for these sorts of roads. So the coffee machine only fell off the table once yesterday on that off-road track, so it lives to see another day. These are some tight streets. I'm not sure I'd want to bring a Unimog down here. So what happens a lot in these rural towns is Google Maps will just pick the most direct route, and then you realise afterwards when you've gone all the way through the old town and the narrow streets that there's probably like a main road that just wraps around and you completely avoid it. But we were just saying, well, at least we get to see it, but sometimes it's pretty hectic in there. Tracy's just taking the dogs to see if they've got any extra production because they're pretty squitsy right now. I've got the aircon blasting, and that's pretty cool because it just gives us that peace of mind that we can just pop in, do groceries, do what we need to do, and the dogs will be absolutely fine. Right, so that's the groceries done. We've got plenty of fuel, plenty of water, so all that's left to do is find somewhere to call home for the night. This is pretty spectacular. Have a look at this. The park up that we planned to get to was taken by a load of other campers, so we just followed the track further and it was completely rutted out. And good old van, good old 4x4, we made it up here, and what a view.
This is a bit of a treat, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, if you haven't been able to tell already, we are loving being back in Spain, and part of that is just how diverse every region and every area is. You know, you only have to drive 5 minutes and it's all different. I mean, just even from up here, you've got green rolling hills, huge sheer rock faces, and then lovely water. So we're just going to get some dinner on now, and I need to figure out on where on earth we are going over the next couple of days, because we want to find a decent off-road track where for hours you just spend navigating through wild tracks. So I'm going to do a bit of research now, and then hopefully tomorrow we've got some fun places to go. Womble, it's okay to be outside. It is.
Look, the sun is shining, we want to be outside. Whatever do I need an excuse for to make margaritas?
And we've just come across these little bits. You can probably get them elsewhere, but we've only just discovered them in Spain. And it's like a cocktail stick of, what is it, pepper, olive, jalapeno, and what's that last thing called again? Gherkin. But they're delicious.
It's one mistake you never want to make twice, is not have that on properly.
Not a bad way to finish the day. Oh no. Nothing. Oh, it was all worth it. what this place does, or whether it's still used. There's a water container at the top there, that's still got some water in. It's obviously something to do with that down there, so if anyone knows what it's used for, then let us know. I mean, all that's in there now is a couple of chairs and a broom, so nothing too intense, I guess. But it sounds like my dinner's ready, and I'm going to get told off if I don't go back now. So let's go.
How's the leg, bud?
We'll fix it though, yeah? We'll get it fixed for you. You're a good boy.